Live.
We're live.
Do you know we're live in Spanish?
Nope. What is
No,
live?
I don't either. Did you take Spanish in school?
You know what? I got a pity pass in high school. And I only took Spanish 1. Nosotros estamos vivas.
Okay.
Nosotros estamos vivas. And you would say vivos, I think.
Uh-huh.
I wish I would have paid attention, and I wish that I was better at learning languages. I do think something is wrong with me. Like, I tried to learn German. I've tried to learn many languages, and it just does not connect in my brain at all. Like, I don't know if it's like an audio visual thing that's just not working out for me, but
yeah.
Like, I can understand Spanish to a point. Like, if somebody's speaking Spanish next to me, I will catch every other word just because I worked with Hispanics for a long time. But yeah, terrible at speaking. But one time when I got drunk, apparently I spoke great Spanish.
You thought you spoke great Spanish.
Right before I threw up in a dumpster. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just took Spanish 1, Spanish 2. That was like the required. I think, and I can't remember. Is that a semester per class? I can't even remember. It's not a full year, is it?
For
like
college,
Spanish 1 is like 1 semester, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
You take 1 full year of a language, and that's all that's required. At least from my high school, that's what it was.
And I only took half of that year, and then I was like, I can't take Spanish again. There's no fucking way I can pass Spanish. Like, I barely passed. And so I took German in a community college. And then my second class of German, I had my teacher's mother, who was a German major, take the test for me. Yeah. And she ended up passing me.
Jeez. Yeah, I think there's got to be something different in the brain with people that can speak multiple languages. And like, I think it's a huge benefit I feel like we're very privileged to have English be our first language because
absolutely. And we're very privileged for not having to actually learn another language. And absolutely.
Like, there's people that have to know at least 2 languages as they're growing up in other countries and other places. It's like,
yeah, there's what is insane to me is people that know like 6 languages or like 7 languages. I'm like,
they can like switch through it. It's like, how
you are the smartest human on the planet. Like, I think that I put like language learning almost above like math learning. Like, if you're math smart, math smart and language smart is like the same to me almost.
Really?
It's like you have to be fucking intelligent to be able to learn all those languages.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm trying to think of like the way that some people process, and I'm sure once you become so skilled, you just think in Spanish in your head. You're not thinking in English and then translating on the fly. You're actually thinking in that language, and that's where you're like, wow.
I know. It's incredible. So here we are. If you speak more than one language, we respect you a lot.
Yes. Respect.
So much.
Respect.
So much.
Woo.
Yeah. I think that if I went to Mexico, I could pick it up like and was immersed. Or not Spain, but like I don't want to go to Spain. All right, that's like, why not Spain.
Traveling. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty able to figure it out.
Yeah.
With the technology nowadays, you can use Google Translate and things like that to help narrow the gap.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like I just get used to when you say something, you can expect that there's going to be, even just in English, like you say something, I am saying this with the expectation that I'm going to get one of like 3 responses back. And then I'm going to go from there. Like,
yeah.
That's just how I talk to people normally if it's a pretty easy conversations. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Google Translate has saved my butt a few times. Cause like, people would come into the shop all the time. Like the grocery store next door, the Mexican grocery store, the carniceria, was there. So Spanish speaking people would always come into the shop, and there was like a lot of times where I'm like, could you please say this into this translator?
Well, yeah, you could just hold it and
Yeah.
speak English. It'll speak Spanish, and then they speak
Yeah.
Spanish, and it'll speak English. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, we were in Mexico City, and we
We
were
are getting
going.
so dumb.
We were trying to go to. I think we were trying to go to like a botanical garden or something like that, but it was
Yeah.
on a college campus, but it was during New Year's break because
Uh-huh.
we went during our New Year's, and they ended up being closed that day. But because when we looked it up, it didn't really say it. They were closed,
Hmm.
and we actually took the taxi all the way there, and then we found out they were closed. Like the road to get to the campus was closed, and there was a security guard, and like can't understand them. And then the taxi driver is like, or Uber driver or whatever, they're kind of communicating, and they're like trying to relay it to us, and we're trying to relay it there, and then we're like, where do we go from here? And we ended up going back to another area and just walked around or whatever. But we wasted the trip because we didn't know it was closed. But like,
Yeah.
Google Translate was helpful there.
Yeah. When you went to Mexico City, did you go on the public transit? They have what is supposed to be the best public transit in the entire like world.
Remember, I think we might have took the transit from the. Actually, I don't think we did. I think we just Ubered because it was really affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, so like they developed the public transportation for Mexico City when Mexico City had the Olympics there. And I think it was in the 80s. And so the design for the public transportation is some of the best design ever for any public transportation. Like it's really understandable almost in any language, which is really interesting. I think I heard that on I think it was a podcast. I want to say it was 99% Invisible, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so what is ironic and kind of dumb, but like sad, but also like whatever, is that a guy from New York like was the one who designed it for Mexico City. It's like, come on. But
New York is the most populated place for that kind of transit, probably, right?
I think so. I think it was New York or somebody. It was from America, and I was like, well, that's dumb that like they couldn't like the person, but they entered a contest and they won the contest. So it was like,
okay. Yeah. I mean, you'd want the most skilled person in understanding pedestrians and big crowds and.
Right, but I've always wanted to go to Mexico City just so I could see the public transit.
I miss the tacos the most.
The tacos.
Al pastor tacos with the onions and cilantro. Oh, so good. So good.
So good. Hi, Ryan.
Little slivers of pineapple. Hi.
How was your week?
All right, so it is Monday. We had an interesting weekend. I didn't even tell you this.
Really?
So all day Saturday was it was our Rachel and I's mutual friend's bachelorette party, but it was co-ed because there are males and females in the bridal party.
Right.
So it was basically 3 couples, and then her sister was also there. So that was pretty fun. That was like an all-day event, and it started off with we got a little fender bender in the morning on the way to the to brunch.
What the fuck? Did you hit somebody or did somebody hit you?
No, somebody rear-ended me.
What?
They didn't really get much damage. It just kind of like popped out my bumper a little bit. But their car got fucked up. Like,
oh no.
Luckily their airbags didn't go off and everything, but it was the front end it was a Toyota Camry, and I have a Nissan Rogue, so it's like a mid-size SUV.
Did they have insurance?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
It was a younger. So the thing that sucked was it was a younger girl and her friend. She's like early 20s, and they were going across country.
Oh no.
And they had just left. They're in Northern Kentucky, so they just like said goodbye to the parents and stuff and left. And they were stopping off to get some coffee downtown. And you know, the accident happened, and then the the front end got smashed. Like one of the lights broke, and then it like smushed it in the front, and the hood bent a little bit. Luckily, it didn't set off any airbags or anything, but and then there was some liquid leaking or whatever after we got out of the way, so it was not drivable.
That's a sign. That's a sign to turn around, go back home. Something's gonna happen to you.
So she was
Get off.
like, "Man,
Go.
we kind of got going late today, and we were stopping off to get some coffee and trying to get to St. Louis by the end of the night." So they said they were like, "I don't know what we're gonna do." They were like, "We're gonna have to like buy a car or something," because they were going all the way to San Diego.
Yeah, but if they're okay.
And they were supposed to get to St. Louis based on the timing. I think she has a job or something that she was going for. Gets there in a certain amount of days or whatever. So, yeah, not a great start for the trip. I mean, I guess it's better to happen
at the beginning
in town than 4
Yeah.
hours away. But anyways, that was the beginning of the day. So, dealing with the whole insurance thing, talked to their insurance today, adjuster, called the body shop, see if I can get, because I got to use the car this weekend for my show, and I'm trying to figure out, I want to get the damage assessed before I leave and, stuff like that. So I'm getting it looked at on Friday morning to just get some documentation of what the estimate's going to be to get it fixed. And I can drive it and everything. It's not, it was just aesthetics of the bumper. So, yeah, that was eventful.
That sounds fun.
And then we did the all day thing. So it was like brunch. Then we did a brewery tour, which was going to like 3 different breweries. I actually tried a bunch of beer. I was not crazy about that, but I tried it. I dealt with it. And I had a couple that were all right.
I was telling people today that there's a lot of men our age that are not fans of like beer. They're more fans of like sweet stuff and like sweet wines and sweet ciders. And
the thing is, there's another couple in the group. It was a husband and wife actually that don't like beer either, but they like stuck it out. And I was like, "What do you like?" And they're like, normally they're like a, Jack and Coke kind of stuff like that. And I was like, "Do you drink cider or anything?" And they were like, "Nah." They're like, "That's milder or whatever."
Give us the hard stuff.
So he's like, I'm not like a, if it's really beery, like I'm not gonna drink it. So he was like asking me like, "Hey, is this one more beery than the last one or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna ask you since you don't really like beer, and that'll give me a good judgment of, if I'm gonna like it or not." So
right.
Luckily, I wasn't the only one, because I was like, "What am I gonna do?" I mean, I'm not just. And the way they did it was with a group, and they gave you a cup that was associated with that company, and the guy that was hosting it would go up to the bar and get a whole pitcher of a beer. So it wasn't like each person got their sample. It was like he got a pitcher for the 6 of us or whatever, and he gave us, and I think we got 3 or 4 pitchers worth for all of us.
Okay.
At each place.
Yeah.
So, you got like
Rachel like beer?
She likes it better than I do.
Okay.
But it was weird. I mean, it was fine. It was good. I got through it. And then we did that. We ate some early dinner, went to the Reds game for about half the game. And then we went to a karaoke bar after. I've never been to a karaoke bar before. It was pretty cool though. It was in downtown.
Did you sing?
It's called Tokyo Kitty. It's like a.
Did you sing?
I didn't. I barely sang.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to guess the song? Well, no, I'm not gonna have you guess the song. I think.
Was it Shania Twain?
It was not Shania Twain. It was not. It wasn't 90s themed party though. So like the whole day was like 90s themed. So it was basically like a bunch of 90s songs. The song that I did sing the most was Love Shack. Gotta
Yes.
love the love
Was
chick.
it like a private?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's based on like Japanese karaoke bars or something where they
Yeah.
have private rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a room that was about, I don't know, 15 by 15 or something like that.
Yeah. And you guys can do it by yourself. And
Yeah, so you got to pick on the iPad what you wanted, and then
mm-hmm.
and it was cool. You could order drinks, and the drinks came down from the ceiling.
Oh, that's
There was
cool.
like an opening in the ceiling, and there was a little
Platform
thing with like 4 drink holders, so it like
That's
came down,
cool.
and then you got to like take it off, and pretty neat. But it was good. I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so exhausting the whole day, but it was fine.
Good.
It wasn't terrible. Um, but yeah, that was Saturday. Sunday was just kind of chilling out.
Yeah.
I think I ran some errands, dropped some pots, got some raw materials, and got back home. So
Yeah.
nothing super major the last couple days, but yeah, I got a lot of glaze firing I'm doing this week before my show this weekend. So that should be a good show.
Nice.
Yeah. What's up? How was your weekend? Anything exciting?
Well, I went to let's see, Rebecca Graves Prowse is opening up a retail store, and so I told her I would help do shelves and stuff. And but before that, she didn't get to me in time. Like, she's kind of a late riser, and I was like, well, I can help around noon, and then at 3 we went to the show that actually Graves Co was in, and then Merritt, my studio mate, and a couple other people in town, and it was called This Is It.
Right.
I think
that was one that Merritt was selling it.
Yeah, it was by Six Ways Market, and so we went to that, and it was also connected to a brewery, and that was fun. We kind of like walked around. It was good to see like almost all my coworkers were there, so that was nice. I don't really like to drink in public typically. It's not my thing. I was also driving, and it was beer, so I wasn't like really wanting to, it's like I'll pass on the $6 beer, thank you.
You're like forced to pick a random beer that you're probably not gonna like.
Right. I mean, like, I like light beers, don't get me wrong, like I'm totally down to drink a beer, but what I'm not totally down to is pay $7 for one. So they had like mixers, but you couldn't take them outside, which is so dumb. Like, you could only take cans outside to drink, so which doesn't make any sense. But
okay.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh, there's a Coke machine. There's like a pop machine. And so I like went, and they're like, you have to get the glasses over there. And I was like, hey, can I have a cup for Coke? And the lady like, see, this is the highlight of my week. The lady like hands me this cup, and she goes, this is for water. And she like gives it to me, and I was like, okay. And then I like went to the Coke machine and filled it up with Coke.
Oh, I thought you meant it was like a okay.
No,
I didn't know you meant fountain.
She just didn't charge me.
I got you.
And which was really cool.
But it's like a clear cup, so somebody like obviously could know.
Yeah, it was Coke. But yeah. Well, I guess what the funnest thing this weekend was. Oh, and then I went to Rebecca's and helped do like shelves and stuff. So I was pretty tired after that. But the funnest thing that happened this weekend was that Josie, one of my coworkers, who's an absolute delight of a human. She is just wonderful. She's awesome. Her birthday's coming up in August, and we were going around this market, and there was this guy who had these these like handmade coats, and she is like a horse person. And if anybody knows horse people, they are horse people. So like
equestrian.
Like, she just likes to train horses and do stuff like that. So anyway, there was this guy who makes his own clothing, and it's like a blanket, and then he sews it into a shirt, hoodie, poncho type thing, and it has like sleeves and everything. And she was like, this is so amazing. And she was like almost crying about how much she loved it. And it has like horses running on it. And but she couldn't, the price was a little too spendy. And so I was like signaling to the guy, like I'm in the back. I'm like, don't let her buy it. I got it. Like, I'm going to buy it. And then he's all like, well, I could give you this one for $30. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Will you just like shut her down?
Talk her down.
Like, and I'm just like, I like literally went over there and I was like, hello, please do not let her buy anything. I'm going to buy that for her. And so I bought it, and then everybody at work kind of like pitched in. And so I'm really excited. I'm going to give it to her tomorrow. That's why I can say this. It's on the thing. That was the highlight of my weekend.
Sweet.
Yeah.
How was that show? It was inside the brewery, or it was just adjacent to it?
No, it's like outside, and usually it's really, really good. And I guess that sales were down from last year, for sure.
Okay.
That's what Rebecca said. So.
Yeah. I feel like if any of the shows are going to struggle more, it's like, I feel like those are always like not break even, but I feel like those are always like lower expectations normally.
Well,
like it's got to be a really special customer or a big
no,
order.
I mean,
that,
Rebecca did really, really well last year.
Yeah.
And this year she did a fourth of what she did last year.
Oh, Rebecca sold there too, not just me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know. I've never signed up for them because the in price is $200. So I'm like,
holy shit,
I'm out. Peace out, home skillet.
Was that just was that a 2-day thing though?
It's 2 days, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes it more reasonable. I was like, 1 day, $200. That place must have been killing it.
Yeah, but in the past it's been really, really good. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So we're doing a short show today, if you can't tell by the 22 minutes of us talking. Let's see. We are doing a business question first.
Yes.
Okay. OMG, I'm losing my freaking mind, and I know you two are good for answers. I'm in a local craft show this weekend. I'm collaborating with 2 other artists, candles and soaps. For the candlemaker, she bought the jars outright at a reduced cost so that she can make a profit. With the soap lady, I gave her dishes and told her my price, so she's going to give me my cut once it's over. Moving forward, which way is better? I have a feeling it's only going to grow, in parentheses, into a big-ass monster, in my opinion. In parentheses. Love you guys. You keep me sane in my workshop. Green Cabin Pottery.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions from Green Cabin over the years.
Wow, it has been years.
By the way, I think we just hit. Today's the 15th, but I think we hit our 3-year today. Well, yesterday.
Was it August 8th or was it? I thought it was August 8th.
That was the 14th.
Holy shit balls!
We didn't record. We need to record a 3-year one at some point, I guess.
No,
I'm scrolling.
I know, me too.
August 22nd, technically.
22nd, so we have a week.
Okay. Still have a week.
7 days.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Next Wednesday. Yeah. Next Wednesday, let's reminisce.
Next Wednesday. Wednesday. All right, Green Cabin. I would prefer to do wholesale. That would be my preference. Get your money, get out of there. Leave the selling and the profit up to them. Make them work to get their money for it. Yeah. I mean, depending on what it is, if it's let's see, jars. She bought the jars.
Jars for candles. To put candles in, and then soap dishes for soap.
Soap dishes. Yeah, the only thing I would differ is sometimes if it's smaller, I will lower my minimum a little bit just for the sake of I don't want to have to make 40 of something. I might be more happy selling like $200 minimum.
I wouldn't have a minimum for a collaboration like this. Probably.
So if you sold them wholesale, you would just have them tell you how many they want and just sell them at wholesale, no matter no matter if they want 10 or if they want 25. Yeah. What if they just want like 5?
Yeah. Okay,
Or why
I'd
would you
probably
do that? Are you
say,
doing that just because they're a small business owner? You're just trying to like experiment with them
yeah,
just to have fun?
yeah. That's why I would do it. I wouldn't care so much about it, but yeah, definitely wholesale though. Like, man, I gave all my mugs to fucking Andrew because he's my best friend, you know? So I was like, yeah, here's these mugs. You can just pay me when you sell them. And I get these rando, like, like these rando Venmo,
Hmm.
like notifications from Andrew. Andrew just sent you $120. And I'm like, what? Where did that come from?
So is
Because
he
he just,
selling it on consignment, like 60/40 or
I
70/30?
guess, he could have not even given me any of the money and I would have never known.
See,
I probably
that's
just
the
gave him to
part
him.
that I think is why another reason I would say wholesale. So you get your money, you know
Absolutely.
exactly how much you're expecting,
100%.
and you don't have to follow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of nice. Like with my consignment shops, I'm to a point where I'm getting checks regularly, like every month.
Hmm.
But if you can't keep track of it and you don't have good inventory control, then wholesale is the way to go.
Especially if they're going to do like a show and it's not like a store, you
Yeah,
know?
I've done a I've done a couple shows. I did one show I was selling some pieces and there was a macrame artist that was not it wasn't Kelty from Kodako, but it was a different macrame artist and she came over and we just chatted. I had some cereal bowls and she was like, "Oh, these are great. These would go good with my uh macrame things." And it was a monthly market, so I was like, "Well, I'll see you next month or in a couple months." And I was like, "We'll chat offline about what we want." And
Hmm.
then we basically just 50/50 at the show.
Yeah.
I took like 6 over to her booth and put them inside the macrame and said, "This is what the bowl costs. So sell it for the cost of the bowl and then just give me."
Yeah.
Actually, I think I just took exactly what the bowl cost. I don't even think she took a cut from it because she had her macrame and I had my bowl. So I think she just paid me outright what the cost was
Yeah.
because it helped sell her stuff. Or maybe we did a split, but either
Yeah.
way, that was like a quick impromptu collab. But we chatted offline. I didn't want to put that on her like I think I chatted with her at the end of a show one day and was like, "Hey, I saw these. I've sold my pieces in macrame before. Do you have any, would you want to collaborate?" sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but
Wholesale for sure.
but yeah, that's cool. I think that's there's way more opportunities to do that kind of thing, especially at the shows if there's a lot of other makers like that. Sometimes I'll be at a show and there's a olive oil or something like that, and I feel like I want to make that connection with them with the olive oil bottles. And I think I've reached out in the past. I've reached out to a couple small businesses that sell olive oil, specifically like fancy olive oil. Like that's all they sell. They haven't reached back out to me, but it's worth doing that like cold email and being like, "Hey, I make these if you're interested," and chatting wholesale to have some for your customers. I'd be open to chatting about it. So,
Hit
um,
me up, bro.
hit me up. Um, yeah. So yeah, there's definitely good opportunities out there to collaborate, even if it's like low pressure. Hey, here's 10 soap dishes. You sell handmade soap. Good combination here. So, okay, cool. Green Cabin, thanks for the question.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, bro. What
All
are we
right.
talking about?
So, Becca wanted to chat about, or she thought I could chat my
Hmm.
perspectives on this, um, because I'm doing my first pre-order. So I think we're basically going to chat about how to like manage a pre-order and how I'm doing it
Yeah.
and what's going
Like
to
how you're
help me
setting it
feel
up.
most prepared for it and some steps I'm doing to hopefully make it successful. I'm going to launch it here in the next 2 or 3 days. So by the time this is out, it would have already been live. And I got a little bit of insight from a friend, and we'll chat about that. Um, that has had some experience with it. So,
Yeah.
so the pre-orders to start, basically we're talking about you are not shipping on demand. Somebody's buying it, they're paying for it, and then you're shipping it a few weeks later normally,
Right.
like a made to order kind of deal. And I think most people do it so that they know exactly how many they need to make of something with
Mm-hmm.
a guarantee that it's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of front loading it, you spend all your time, your effort, your money up front in hopes that you get the money on the back end. You're front loading it with the money. You get payment for it, and then you work off that payment and ship it
Yeah.
out when it's done. So I guess first, have you ever done a pre-order?
Yeah, I mean, like the last couple sales that I've done have been pre-orders.
Okay.
But like
And you don't consider your technically you
the
run your flash sales like a pre-order,
flash
but
sales are pre-orders. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And would you distinguish a pre-order differently than a flash sale because a pre-order is typically at retail price. It's not.
I suppose so. Yeah.
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 So that's what I would consider a pre-order. So you could get the retail cost of it. Yeah. So the intentions behind like why I was thinking about doing it was I'm doing it specifically on the fancier pieces, the carved oil
Mm-hmm.
bottles, because this is my first kind of iteration into making them at not at scale, but at a scale that I can have more than one or two of something.
Yeah.
And I'm confident in the end product. I've made enough of them. I've tried certain underglaze colors that I'm happy with. I've
Mm-hmm.
used that color on little shot cups, on mugs, on bottles, and I'm happy with how they end up. And I don't have as many glaze issues, so that's a big prerequisite for me that I
Mm-hmm.
know the end result is going to come out like I expect it to. If there's still unknowns here, I'm not going to risk it personally.
Right.
And I'm sure at your stage you've probably messed up some things and you would I don't know, would you be cautious like that and not risk certain
No,
things?
I have a pretty solid uh I have a pretty solid system.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what you would be what's the scope of what you would pre-order? Would you ever pre-order like a fancy cup?
Fuck no.
No. Why not?
Well, I guess I could, but then I'd have to like have one design or whatever, you know?
What if it was color combos? What if it was like I'm doing a pre-order for these three colors?
I guess.
Like
I don't
pick your
know.
color combination and I'll make it however I want.
I don't know if people would go that way. Do that, you know?
But just the thought experiment. Like, would you pick colors that you had
Yeah, I mean
reluctance to
all the
pick?
colors work.
Okay.
Like I have very specific colors. Yeah, that work.
Because you know how to apply them and
Mm-hmm.
you know how to get
And
the
it's like I'm not putting clear over them, so I don't have to worry about them working per se,
right.
just that the color shows up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and also I don't want to overwhelm myself with
Right.
like, let's say I'm like, I want to give people all the options. I want to give people 5 different options to pick from, and you tell me what you want. That way, it's like I'm opening myself up to more customers because maybe there's not enough people that like orange or yellow. Maybe their
Right.
kitchen doesn't match it or whatever. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna open up to orange, yellow, pink, red, blue, and white. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, then you've got, I need 2 of this, 2 of that, 3 of that, 1 of that, 2 of that. Like, then you're
Yeah.
balancing all these different things as well as all the other things that I have going on that's not clay related, as well as clay related. What's like,
Yeah.
I have shows on the calendar, so I need to have something that's manageable that it's not going to bog me down. Um, yeah, so that's kind of how I'm approaching what I'm willing to pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also conscious of um, the complexity. Like if there was an issue, how long would it take to remake a piece?
Right.
Because the bottles, for instance, it's very simple. I throw it. If I throw it in a certain way and I get the foot to a certain um, diameter, I don't have to do the faceting, and I can just throw it one day, the next day clean it up with my thumb, and then put it in a damp box for Erica to come put the underglaze on it, and then I can carve it. And then once I carve it, it just sits out and dries completely. If it was a mug, on the other hand, I would need to throw it, let it sit, thumb it off, add a handle, have Erica put slip on it, carve it, let it sit in a damp box for a day. Usually I let it sit in a damp box so it didn't dry out with the handle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then let it dry out and then bisque fire it. So there's an extra step of risk there with the handle.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the bottles are just generally quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Erica definitely says they're quicker to add underglaze to it. Like the other day she did, I'm kind of getting ahead of it with the pre-order. So she was underglazing 4 yellow, 4 orange, 4 teal. So that, and she was like going through it quick. She got through all of those plus another 4 all in 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like completely done. So all I got to do is carve them. So that's a big step that I'm like, okay, I can kind of have a system here. As long as I can throw them in enough time, I can kind of get it to a place where I can plan ahead. And then I'm not limited by the kilns necessarily with like, can I fill a kiln?
Right.
I think the bottles are easy to like fill on a shelf or, load it kind of light if I need to. And then the glazing portion is pretty straightforward too. So that's kind of how I'm organizing the form and how I'm thinking about the form. Is there any other considerations about like forms and stuff that you would actually consider pre-orders or not do pre-orders for?
I think that it would be tough for me to do a pre-order for something large, like a bowl or something, like a big bowl, like the Becca bowls that I
Like a
did.
serving bowl or a mixing bowl or something like that?
Yeah, that would be tough for me.
Why
Just
is that? Just
because
because of the kiln space?
kiln space, you have a lot more of a risk blowing out the base of a piece, especially in
Yeah.
like high humidity where we're in right now.
Mhm.
Like not like I blew out some butts the other like a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
The first time in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And I did like
The drying time is significantly longer, and
yeah, and I did like a 4-hour hold
mhm.
on it and they still blew up.
Yeah.
So but it's like whatever. So yeah, like a larger bowl I'd probably not do, and I would probably not do individual small pieces because it's just really hard to like
Like what
ship,
kind of small pieces? Like your mini sippers? Like your
or
mini
just
cups?
like yeah, or just like pinch pots or something, like really tiny like shot glasses or something. I
Mhm.
think that would be hard for me to pre-order.
And that's different than, would you consider that different than made to order?
Yeah. No, maybe.
No?
I don't know. I feel like pre-order is just like you're opening it for this amount of time. Made to order is like, hey, they're always up there.
Yeah. I feel like the pre-order is for like a specialty item, not
Mm-hmm.
like an everyday item. Maybe
Yeah.
there's not really a difference because you're making both of them to order.
Yeah.
It's
I
just the
think that
naming.
I think that the reason I wouldn't do it on the small ones, I did made to orders on my small ones today, but like I think the reason I wouldn't do like a pre-order just on individual like mini things, like I priced my pinch pots online at $8, right? And if I did a pre-order, like I don't think that I could have. made the amount of money that I want to make off of like $8 pinch pots. Unless I have like a bajillion followers and all I sell is pinch pots, I guess. But then that's like, is it worth it? And like, let me work it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm talking myself out of my answer to being no.
I think one of the differences, I would say a pre-order is more likely to have a maximum.
Yeah.
I think the idea of the made to order items, it's supposed to have a long life, and there's not meant your made to order items should be something that you can
produce quickly
and produce on a regular basis, to where you're not putting it up, taking it down, putting it up, taking it down.
Right.
I mean, you can do that depending on the season. Maybe you're I mean, I can see you taking down a made to order in, let's say, late October or something because of holidays, and you've got to make other things.
Right.
And you don't want to spend your time only making the small made to order things, for instance.
Right. Or like shutting it down like 2 weeks before Christmas or whatever, you know.
Yeah. So I think at least the way that I've seen other people do it. Like, I think the friend I was talking about earlier was Liz. So Liz Cohen, shout out Liz Cohen. And, she was saying the way she's doing the pre-order, she's been doing pre-orders on planters, and the way that those pieces are very specific. I want to say they're very specific styles that she's doing, or very specific color combinations. So the customization that they're picking from is the color options.
Okay.
Maybe they're not picking 3 individual unique colors, but they're picking like a color scheme or a theme.
Right.
And she has a limited number of spots that she can sell. So it's kind of like a curated set of options.
It's like not like your regular line, you know? I mean, or maybe it is, but like with hers, she has so many different color combinations that you could have. So that's what makes the pre-order nice, right?
Yeah, you're guaranteed something that you want, and you don't have to hope that it shows up at the time that you're willing to pay for it.
Right.
And you beat somebody else to it. Which is what a typical restock is, you know. Hopefully they've got 4 of the same style that you like, and you could get one of those 4 before they sell out. Or some people just do restocks, and they restock very specific things, and they have, you know, this color is this restock.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of pieces in that color in that one restock, so that they can meet the needs of a lot of customers that like that one style. But I don't know. I think the pre-order. Would you say the pre-order is more beneficial for the maker or for the buyer?
I think it's both.
Both.
Honestly, I think it's a win-win. Honestly, like, can you imagine as a buyer, you're like, sweet, I finally get to like get exactly what I want. And then, because you know, when you are on, let's say, Liz's site, and she has a number of planters that she's already made, and you go online, you're like, fuck, like somebody else got the one I wanted, you know. But in a pre-order, because the options are unlimited, it's just the options are unlimited, but the piece is not unlimited, you know. So like, let's say there's 20 planters, but they could all be the same color combination if they chose, you know. Then you can get exactly what you wanted. It might be a little bit later, but
yeah. I think it meets a different customer need. Like, some customers like to look through what's available and then pick their favorite thing of what's available, so they can get it quickly for a specific event. Or I'm just looking for a new mug. I'm not looking for the mug. But maybe you're a collector and you have a lot of different mugs, and you're not looking for just an everyday mug. Like, you want
a special one,
a quintessential, like, Liz Cohen mug. That's like, okay, this is the one I want to use. So you'll look for a very specific style because she makes 6 different styles or whatever, you know?
I do think that the only, I say, almost disadvantage is getting paid up front as opposed to like the end, and more in a mental way as opposed to like any physical disadvantage. It's just like you get paid up front, so then you're like under pressure to make sure that everything is great.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't turn out right, then you're like, smash, 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 and it's like you have to, try twice as hard, and you're like under the gun to get them shipped out in time. I do think that that's the only like disadvantage. And there's something about like getting paid when you ship something out that's like rewarding.
Yeah. I feel like it's still, I don't know. It is definitely a different mentality when you're
Yeah.
doing that. Like, I definitely have a little bit different. I'm trying to think of in what cases do I get paid up front for something. I mean, sometimes I'll get a deposit for like a wholesale order,
Right.
and then and that reminds me, I need to write an invoice to that. Um, invoice. Invoice for my wholesale. Um, that you're like, oh well, I've already got paid for this thing. I just got to deliver it, and then there's no like urgency
Right, right,
at
right.
the
It's
end.
like,
It's just your pride and your ego of like, I
yeah.
promised this. I need to meet this for my own business sake, for my customer service,
Right.
side of my business, and they paid for it, so they are owed it.
Right.
And you know, I don't know. I feel like we can overthink some of the timing of things. Like they're not going to notice necessarily, but some
Mm-hmm.
people will appreciate.
Yeah, like when it's timely. Yeah.
Yeah, when you've committed to something and you deliver on time.
Yeah.
Um, and then hopefully it meets their expectations. I wonder if their expectations change a little bit when they've paid for it 4 weeks ago. They kind of forget about it and it
Mm-hmm.
shows up, or they
They're
see
like,
an email that's
yeah,
like it's
yeah.
been sent. Do they? Is there? I feel like the expectations are really high when you first buy something. I wonder if it wanes as that 4 weeks has gone on, or it's like their anticipation is building of like, I can't wait to get this out or to get
Yeah.
this. I wonder if there's more of a gap there of like, oh, I expected this and it looks like this. It's not exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The money's spent already. It's like 4 weeks past. So
I've never bought anything on a pre-order. Have you?
I haven't. I don't think so. I have not. No.
Yeah.
Usually it's a pretty customized thing. I feel like I just forget about things with the timing of like if I were to order a pre-order, I would not associate the oh, it's been 4 weeks, I better check on it. It's like
I
completely
also feel
forgot.
like I do feel like pre-orders are for planners, and like drops, like pot drops, are for not planners as far as the customer base is concerned. So like I have
But
no
there's some
intent.
planners that are right there when that thing drops.
True, 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 true. Very true. But like sometimes, especially when it comes to like Kurt Hammerly, I have zero intention of buying anything, and then I'm like, fuck, that bowl is nice.
On a
And
restock bowl, not a
on
pre-order bowl?
on a restock bowl, not a pre-order bowl. And I'm
Hmm.
like, damn, that bowl is real nice. And it's just like all of a sudden,
Hmm.
maybe I have done a pre-order. Have I? I might have with
What do you
Kurt.
think it was?
Hold, please entertain.
So, one thing I was gonna say, since Becca mentioned Kurt, I was chatting with Kurt recently. He was on vacation for a week, and the beneficial thing, and obviously not everybody's in the same situation. I'm not even in this situation. He's to a point where he has a bunch of product that he makes all the time, right? He's high volume, you know, he keeps producing work and he gets it out there. He does the restocks. He might not in the most recent time, but he does the restocks. People buy that stuff when it goes live and he sells out normally in a few
Yeah.
days. but he also keeps the pre-orders. In the last year or so, he's been doing pre-orders. It's probably been longer than that, but he
Yeah,
does
this is from
pre-orders on very
2020.
specific styles, very specific colors, like one of the bowls that Becca's holding right there, probably. Um, and he was saying while he was on vacation, he got like 30 pre-orders. It's one of those things that if somebody just stumbles upon his site, let's say they've never heard of Kurt Hammerly before last week, and
Mm-hmm.
they just start following him, and they see his stuff, they're like infatuated with the look of things, and they're hoping they can get something, and they just stumble upon his website. They're not in tune with his restock schedule or anything like that. They can see pre-orders available and be like, oh well, there's a bunch of different things that I can get. I really like that.
Yeah.
And that's probably some of the most recent things on his feed. So if they're a new follower, they might see that and they're like, well, I can buy that right now. And they get a promise of being able to get something, and it's going to show up in a few weeks. So it's a good marketing strategy to have pre-order items as well as in-stock items, just so you can meet those different buyers, as well as if you do sell out, it gives customers options of something to buy any day of the week.
Yeah.
And it's just a good option for both parties there. Like, he was on vacation and he made a bunch of money just from pre-orders, and then he's already got bisqueware sitting, or he's got glazed pieces just sitting ready to go
Yeah.
out. So,
Well,
Becca, do you want to talk
isn't
about that
that
bowl there?
nice? This is my pre-order bowl that I forgot that I pre-ordered. It's the one
From?
that goes from yellow to red.
I
From
think it's Tequila Sunrise.
Sure.
I think that's what he names it.
Yeah. That was my favorite color combination. I was like, oh, you
Yeah,
mean
and I
I
don't
don't
think he
have
makes
to?
that. I
Yeah.
don't think he makes those bowls anymore.
No, I don't think so. It's a nice bowl. I think that his new bowls are probably better.
We have one
It's,
of those bowls too. I got it from a
yeah.
second sale that he did.
Yeah. It's a little, it's smaller than the East Fork bowl, taller than the East Fork bowl.
It's like it's in the same stack of bowls with our East
It
Fork ones.
nests. It nests very nicely into the East Fork bowl.
Yeah. We've got the East Fork bowl there. We've got the Hammerly bowl. We got the Becca bowl, the Becca
Mm,
pasta bowl, and then we've got I want to say it's a Breakfront Pottery, which is a local Cincinnati one,
hmm
and those are our 4 pasta bowls that are handmade. So
And which one's your favorite?
the favorite one is probably the East Fork bowl, to be honest.
Bitch.
I wasn't gonna say
Okay.
yours. Yours is the brand new to the lineup.
It is new, and it was like a recent pasta bowl. It's not
I was
even
gonna
like, it's
say
not even trimmed on the bottom.
I was gonna say Kurt's, but I think East Fork Bowl is the best. I mean, the East Fork Bowl does show the metal
It
markings a little bit
mars.
more,
It mars way
so
more.
I might technically say the Kurt Bowl, but yeah.
My favorite pasta bowl is actually the ones that I made for Gravesco that are real fucking big. Like, they hold so much pasta. Like,
Is it as wide of a so Kurt's has more of a like narrower foot. East Fork has a wider foot. Your newer ones that we got has a wider foot. Is the
yeah,
Gravesco one like a narrower foot or wider foot?
it's probably, well, okay, so this is the Kurt bowl, right? It's probably, I
Probably
have a
10
ruler
inches
here.
across or something like that.
It's, oh, shit, I'm ruining my painting that I paid too much money for. Actually, I didn't pay enough money for it. This is 7.5 inches. Okay, so this is 7.5 inches. I would say that what?
I said I'm a bad judge.
I would say that the bowl that I made for Gravesco is 9, maybe 9.5
Okay.
wide and the same height.
Okay. Wow.
So
That's a big bowl.
It's a big bowl, but what's nice about it is that it's wide and shallow, so you could put a little bit of food and it would still look good.
Mm-hmm.
If you put a lot of food, it would still look good. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how the pre-order goes. I'm thinking timing wise, I don't know how many I'm going to sell. I'm managing my expectations. I think when I first launch it, I'm probably going to get I'm going to say the first week. I'm not even going to say the first day or first couple days cuz I don't have people rushing to my shop. I'm going to say I'm going to sell like 10 or so.
Okay.
the first week.
I'm telling you, I have zero expectations anymore for anything online. I sold the Becca bowls, and one person did buy 4, which should be an interesting shipping situation.
And
And
they're like bigger. Can you
yeah,
tell
those are
people what the
9 by
Becca bowls
4
are?
inches. They're 9 inches by 4 inches when they're finished.
Holy
They're
shit.
not small. And so I probably will ship them out individually.
Did they get them in different colors?
All white.
Wow.
And I'm like, and yeah, I was like, well, that's not what I planned. But you know what? Also, super grateful to you. um, but
You ever pack up like a few pieces, not even just like shipping them, but at a show, sometimes I'll sell some things and I'll be packing them, wrapping them up. And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, your total is $126. I was like, damn, that seems like a steal what you just got for $126. Like, that's not really a ton of money
uh,
when you're
yes, I
judging like
do that
handmade
a
stuff.
lot.
It's like, oh my
Well,
gosh, I just
especially
packed
when
up
I'm
all this
selling
stuff.
like shitty cups and like, the all my shitty pots, it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, your total's $30 for 2 pieces.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could pack up like an oil bottle, a mug, a bowl, and like a spoon rest, and it's gonna be like 126 probably. Like that's probably reasonable for what it would be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's not that much money for what I just packed up.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
It's crazy. But yeah, I feel like there's a shift in the internet. We kind of talked about this a little bit this morning, but um definitely people are watching their pennies a little bit more.
yeah. I was trying to. I don't know if I was talking sense into you or just giving you a like, yo, Becca, I know it's your brand to just drop shit randomly and be like, it's up. I just had this thought 3 minutes ago. I posted a story about it. Pieces are up. You're gonna buy it in the next 20 minutes. It's gonna be live. Thanks much.
Thanks much. Yeah, no, that totally is my
And
brain.
I'm like, Becca, you need to like put a little more forethought into this, or
Becca, you
else.
need to try a little harder.
And I'm
uh,
like, some
should
people
I?
can't just randomly stumble upon a story and buy something.
Right.
Um,
I know.
and and that's part of what I was talking with Liz about with the pre-order, because I was like, hey Liz, before I launch this, how did you handle your pre-order? How much time did you give yourself before you um actually launch them? Did you give people 3 days notice? Did you give them a couple weeks? Like, what are we looking at here? How much information did you give them? So she was saying she gave them about, I think, 5 to 7 days.
Okay.
And what that meant was she put it on her, and I might be getting this a little bit off, but I want to say she
Yeah.
put it on her Instagram,
Mhm.
and she did it as a way to, show some reels of the process of how it's being made, showing the finished products of here are the options that I'm going to have available, and maybe did 2 or 3 posts building up to that over those 5 days. And as she was posting those, she was mentioning like, hey, my mailing list is going to find out first. She didn't give an exact date building up over that time. She was more like, hey, these pre-orders are coming. Sign up for my mailing list so you can find out first. And basically what she did, I mean, she got, I don't even know what the number is, but let's just say she got 20 people to sign up for a mailing list from doing that over 3 days of posting
Yeah.
content. Um, she probably had the pieces ready and she was going to make them to order anyways. But without that build up, it gets people excited. They get to see the process of how it's made, as
Mhm.
well as, ooh, I really like those colors. And then you're like, it gives you time to think about, you know, what time of the month is it? Do I have money to spend for? I think nowadays it's more important to be conscious of like, are they going to have the money for it? What is going to be most enticing for people to add to their collection? Or
Yeah.
what colors are going to have the widest appeal as well? Like, think about that a little bit. And get those mailing list signups just something else to uh, give a little bit of like preferential treatment to a group of people that already support you.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure she just built an email, and then I'm going to do the same. So build an email out, post it, say, here's the pre-orders live, go buy it. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be like this is a password protected page. Like for me, I'm not somebody that's getting swarms of people all the time. So
Yeah.
if I don't tell somebody about it, they're not just going to stumble upon it and like jump the line. And if it was Kurt, it might be a different story. Like if he just posted
Right.
pre-orders and told his email list and said, "Hey, here's a password protected page. Here's how you need to access it." Like that might be more appropriate, but and he does like previews and stuff like that. I don't think I'm to that point where I need like previews. That's just more work for me that is not necessary. Um,
I do think that previews help on drops, though, for sure.
yeah, I mean, in the previews of the pre-orders would be like, here's exactly what you can pre-order. Like, I think that's enough of a preview for that aspect. But,
Yeah.
um, and then dropping it on the email list and saying, hey, the pre-orders are live. Here's where you can go buy them. Get in their first dibs, limited quantities. So even if you're like, I'm gonna leave them up for a week, or I don't know what kind of, because honestly, like it's not lying to say I don't know what kind of response I'm gonna get. Like I can say manage expectations. Like I don't think I'm gonna sell more than 10 in a week, but it's not really like I'm making things up to say there's a limited quantities. Like I'm not saying there's only 5 of each, but I'm not saying that I can't
Yeah.
handle more. And you know, Instagram people might end up buying more than my mailing list anyways. So you getting a head start doesn't necessarily like you don't have to have the head start because I'm gonna have enough, but it's also like, oh, well, they're letting me know, like, I really want to get this, so I'm gonna get it. It's kind of like a buying tactic or a selling tactic of like, hey, here's
Yeah.
a little urgency, get on there because I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to handle. And then she told Instagram like the next day. So, tell
Okay.
the mailing list, hey, you've got 24 hours before I let Instagram know. And then if they know how popular you are on Instagram or not popular, whatever, if they know there's more people that are going to know about it the next day, you know, they need to get on it. Um,
I sent him an email today for the first time in maybe forever.
yeah, I saw that.
Yes. My favorite part of it is the very beginning, and I'm gonna read
How
it.
was what was the platform for that email and where did those? Because I was asking you, I was like, do you have a mailing list? Like, did you send out this pre-order stuff? Like, you know,
I
lean
I
on the people that
do
are already
not
fancy
have
yours
a
and bought from you.
I don't necessarily have a mailing list, but over the years my Square has collected a fair amount of customers.
Which is basically just anytime somebody checks out with you through Square
Yes.
at a
Like some of
show
these are
or
6 years.
at the
Some of these are
shop or
6 years
whatever.
old, 8 years old. I don't even know. Long. Eight, like many years old.
You already sent it out, right?
Yeah, I already sent it out.
Did you check on the
And
report to see what kind of traction you got on it?
I'm going there
And I
now.
want to say this was all through Square. So it's like Square marketing is what they call it.
I guess, yeah. It says my attributed sales are $0, but I did get an order today. So my
That
open
just
rate
means
is,
they probably didn't click from that email.
yeah. My open rate is, because I put it on my Instagram too. My open rate was 39%.
That's pretty good.
16, okay, out of 823 people, 16 bounced, 323 opened, 61 clicked, 17 unsubscribed.
I feel like I always get butthurt every single time I see unsubscribes. Like unsubscribes will keep me from sending emails, even though I know that I'm gonna get like at least 4 or 5 people that unsubscribe. I'm like, I gotta keep making those reps. Like I gotta keep sending those emails because I'm gonna get the unsubscribes. But I gotta hope
Yes.
that more people are gonna consume the content and get something positive out of it than
Yeah,
ignoring
I
me.
literally said at the bottom, well, the beginning says, after about 5 minutes of consideration and a brief realization that I have over the years trapped all you people into giving me your emails, I have decided to just start putting all this shit on the interwebs, basically. And then the end, it says, be aware, if you don't want this email, unsubscribe now. I might get a wild hair and start doing this more. Who knows? I think that I'm just going to send out emails that are like, fun fact, did you know that mantis ray shrimp have 16 cones in their eyes? And then just be like, here's a link to order pottery. I think that would be honestly amazing.
The one thing you could spin on there would be like, while I was throwing this batch of pots, I was listening to this podcast about mantis ray shrimp, and I found out about this fun fact. Like, tie it back to pottery somehow, so it's not completely random.
Oh, come on. Be fun. Be fun with me.
I mean, you could be fun, but it feels less salesy if you're like, blah blah blah. Here's a fun fact: buy my pots. Like, I don't know. Some people, if they get your vibe, but I'm sure a lot of those Square people have just bought something from you. You don't know about your personality, about your like, quote unquote, like branding and like who you are necessarily. So that's where it's like you would catch the people that are kind of like on the fence about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's true.
That's why I was like, Becca, put a picture of pottery at the top. Don't just put some blank. Like, they bought from you like 5 years ago. Maybe they don't even know your name, your business name. So they see Five Lines Pottery. They're like, who the hell is this trying to sell to me? And they're like, oh, I remember that. I've got that pot. I'm still using that pot,
Yeah, that's true.
And that prompted me today. I actually did look at Square Marketing today. And I built.
You have 3 minutes, by the way, until we're supposed to be done.
3 minutes. So I did build out a Square Marketing campaign that is a post sale email that's going to go out. So especially with a lot of my shows coming up, it's basic. I mean, my customer base, I think on Square is like 1,700 or something. There's a lot.
Damn.
And I only use Square at shows. So, I mean, that's my last.
Is that how many emails you have? Because my customer base is like 2,200, but
oh, no, I don't know how many emails I've got. I would have to look at that. But yeah, I would assume the email. Okay. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe.
Like, do you ask for emails at the shows?
Not recently, but maybe some people, if they had their email associated with their card as a preference to email their receipt, maybe it would have their email.
It might.
So either way, I set that up. So it's going to send a thank you after they buy something and send them like a $5 off coupon.
Nice.
And then I basically just said, hey, here's my upcoming shows. And then I said, if you can't see me in another show and you need to purchase something online, here's a coupon code that you can use in my online shop.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm gonna try that out. That is that costs a fee. I think it said up to 500 emails, 500 customers.
$30 for 500 to 1,000.
Okay. Yeah, it said $15 for the first 500 people.
Yeah, you can do some of them for free though. They have options where you can do free ones.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try that. We'll see how that goes, and then I might set up another campaign here soon. I mean, honestly, most of my customers that are probably going to buy from me again have bought from me at shows. So
yeah,
and that's kind of my sweet spot of selling anyways. I'm more likely to see somebody again and send an email out like, hey, I've seen you at a show in the past. I'd love to see you again. Yeah. Here's a coupon to come see me at one of my next shows coming up. Here's a list of my upcoming shows. Something like that. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll see how the pre-order goes. I don't know. I'm trying to manage the expectations, hopefully. And hopefully not like deter all of my plans of everything else that I'm trying to do in the studio. Like, I don't want the pre-order to consume me. Another reason I haven't done is because I don't want to be consumed by, I'm only focusing on pre-orders for like 3 weeks straight. Like, that sounds horrible. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
And
I feel like I'm building up all this hype and it's going to be underwhelming, but
I feel like that's my whole life right now.
But it's also one of many options. So
yeah.
I don't know. If I completely relied on this pre-order, I would feel a little bit more stressful, but
right. But it's an option.
Yeah. And hopefully people can find the pieces they like and just buy it and feel confident about, okay, now I don't have to wait forever because I'm like, oh, I'll get them on the shop soon, and they like literally never get on the shop because I just get 4 out of the kiln and I take them to a show and I sell all of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, sucks for you.
Sucks for you, boo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. We've hit the time now
we've
that
hit the
Becca
time.
has been like,
Bzz, bzz, bzz. I texted him earlier. I was like, we are going to be done by 11. And it is 11:01.
yeah.
I'm going to
All
call
right.
Teresa and Brandon because I missed our call yesterday. So,
Any last words, Becca?
ladies and gentlemen, take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice.
Bye.
Bye.